Hello, are you ready?
As ready as I'm gonna get.
Mick, well, thank you so much for being here and for applying for this volunteer job. We really appreciate it. I think we have 3 great candidates, like was said earlier. Would you like to do a 2-minute opening, a 2-minute closing, or combine both together somehow?
I'll do an opening.
Okay. Then after that, Cassie will start with the questions.
Very good.
All right, go ahead.
We've lived and worked in Teller County for 30 years. Our daughter went to Woodland Park School from Summit through high school and graduated in 2008 from here. So we hadn't really been involved in the school for some time. Then I began taking a closer look at our district in late 2020 and got involved to some degree. And our children are our future and our country's future. And I felt like we have begun to look past reading, writing, and arithmetic, and it shows in our rankings around the world. We used to be number 1, and now our tests are below the average globally. So I just felt like we've got to try to turn this back around. I liked number 1. And so I decided to get involved, and so here I am. Then something else happened that was a blessing. Our daughter and kids moved back from Missouri, so they came back and are home again. And we have 2 of the grandchildren in Merritt, and we have another one over here at the high school, and they're all doing fantastic. So that was a unknown blessing. So we are involved in the school district again in a big way, and we like it.
Okay, thank you. Cassie.
All right. Why do you want to be a member of the Board of Education? Which I sort of felt like you just answered some of that in your intro, so if you want to elaborate on that, feel free.
Well, I mean, I do. I want to get involved, and I've been involved in various things all my life and got involved, and I had people come to me and complain all the time, and when I said, well, you need to engage and get involved, and they said, no, I'm too busy. I said, well, if you're too busy to get involved, then you're too busy to talk about it. So we would end the conversation. And you see that in every facet of life. Everyone wants to complain, but nobody wants to roll up their sleeves and do it. So this is important to us. It's important to the future of this country. And our kids are our future. So I feel it's important to engage.
Thank you. Next question. With the facilities not being used in their fullest potential, how does the school board balance the need to provide our community with quality education and with the need to respond to the local taxpayer burden?
Well, this has been a challenge for a while. And, our schools are at or about half capacity, slightly over half. And I think we owe it to the taxpayers to consolidate schools and put people in them. Maybe we do another charter. I don't know what we do we could fill those spaces with some creative thinking and get those numbers up. They'll be good in so many ways, but it'll be very good on the tax base.
This board ran a campaign and won on school choice and educational opportunities. What does parent choice mean to you, and how would you support that as a board member?
Well, I mean, we had personal experience with it. It was wonderful to have a choice when our kids came home. Choice gives everyone an option. They can stick with the original situation we were and are in, or if there's other opportunities, they can take those. And it fit our family very well. All of the grandkids are excelling in their schools. They're all part of the district, but 2 different facets of it. So I think choice is important, and choice creates some healthy competition between the various schools to be better. And that's what we're all in this room for, is to be better.
My last question. What outside interests or experiences would you bring to the board that would be helpful to the group? Well,
I've got a solid business background. My wife and I owned our own business up here for 30 years. It was very successful. I've got a good business background, a good money management background, and I could bring that to the table. And, you know, I have some common sense, and the problem with common sense is it's not very common anymore. So I can bring that to the table as well. So I think I could be an asset.
Thank you. So, yes.
Okay. Well, Mick, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I'm gonna cut my question short because Miss Cassie took two of my questions.
Okay.
So, and then I would like to yield, if I have any time left, to the gentleman to my right who didn't get to ask all his questions. So, I know that you're retired, but do you see yourself having the time that is needed for scheduled and ad hoc meetings as well as the personal time to do a lot of research, a lot of listening, a lot of community?
I considered that. I know enough about what goes on with the school board that, you know, it takes some time, some serious time. And I'm prepared to put that time into the job. And I've got 3 grandkids that will suck up any time I have, but I've spoken to them and they're all very supportive. So I don't have any doubt I can meet the time commitment.
Thank you. Okay. My second question is, knowing that as a school board member, you're required to take the oath to uphold the Colorado State Constitution as well as the United States Constitution, describe how you would support upholding the constitutions as a board member, and how is it important for the children's education?
It's imperative. One of my concerns is that we don't talk much about the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution, and I think our children need to understand that. That's what this country is founded on, and I would have no problem adhering to those. I wish we did across the board, across this country. We still have a Constitution, and it's held up for 250 years. I think we need to get back to following it.
Thank you. I will yield the rest of my time. How much time do I have?
3 minutes left, so
3 minutes?
3 minutes.
Cassie had a minute 45.
Mr. Ellingworth.
Mr. Bates, thank you so much for being willing to apply to serve this community as well as to sit through what can't be a totally fun process, so I really appreciate it. So I do have 4 questions, Mr. Bates. Sir, in his 2015 book, Between the World and Me, Ta-Nehisi Coates writes, among other things, quote, "The power of domination and exclusion is central to the belief in being white, and without it, white people would cease to exist. Do you agree with this teaching, and would it be appropriate or even lawful to teach a child to view a person as inherently bad or dangerous simply because of the color of their skin?"
Absolutely not. You know, justice is blind for a reason, and I think there's too much emphasis put on skin color as we speak, but every person brings value regardless of the color of their skin, and it should be very easy to treat everyone equally because everyone's got something they can bring to the table.
Thank you. Keeping children safe is a sacred duty that we all have, especially those placed in positions of trust among children as young as 4 years old. That includes safety from exploitation and abuse, both physical and sexual. To exploit a child's vulnerability, as you know, many adult abusers seek to develop an inappropriately personal and intimate relationship with the child through the use of secret conversations or texting about sex, sexual attraction, and sexual activity. In light of that, how would you answer those parents who are concerned about the promotion and use of a school handbook in this district that encourages school children, no matter how young, to discuss their sexuality with teachers, not licensed mental health professionals, not their parents, but with teachers?
Well, first of all, it's the parents' responsibility to introduce their children to those types of things. And if we're doing a good job of parenting, which can be challenging, our children have good balance and they shouldn't need to go confide in a teacher. I, as a parent, would be very uncomfortable. I would feel like they were going around behind my back. If there's going to be a discussion, I would like for my wife and I to be a part of that discussion with our child. So I can't condone that.
Thank you. It has often been said that there must be a separation between church and state, and most especially public schools. Yet, as school board directors, we do often receive comments, emails, and communications from constituents. One such large group of constituents is the concerned parents of Teller County, and their members often attend our meetings and write us to ensure they are heard and seen. One of the influential voices of this group, an administrator of their Facebook group, recently suggested to invite the Satanic Temple to our school board meetings. Do you think it's appropriate to invite a religious organization such as Satanists to participate in government functions and the education of public school children? As a school board director, how would you respond to a suggestion like this?
I would be very much against that. This separation of church and state has been around a long time, but it's backwards. It was intended to keep the state out of religion, not religion out of the state. And that has been convoluted over the years, or the many years. But that there's not a place for that. We're a Judeo-Christian country, and there would probably be some examples where someone could come in. There have been examples of people of religion coming in and doing things within the school, but it's really within some parameters. That Church of Satan wouldn't be within my parameters.
Thank you. My final question. Recently, another one of the administrators of the Concerned Parents of Teller County called for bringing drag queens into our schools to perform a fashion show for children. And I have the Facebook post here if you want to see it afterwards. What are your thoughts on how such a proposal would further the educational mission of the public school system? How would you respond to a petition to do this, say, at an elementary school?
Absolutely not. Our children are being over-sexualized at far too young of an age as it is. I've seen, this is big news across the country, and it hurts my heart to watch these young kids at these drag shows. And it hurts me more that their parents are taking them to them. These are young kids that don't really even understand what they're witnessing. And absolutely not.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ruster-Holtz.
Thank you. Mick, each candidate has been given a copy of the Board of Education's mission and purpose statement. I would like to hear some of your thoughts about that. Is this statement something that you can support? And if so, why? And what do you think is most important in this statement? If this is not something you can wholly agree with, then tell us what you would like to change to be able to support it.
I've read that. I've been aware of it since it was put together. I agree with the whole thing. I mean, the fact that the Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution are spoke of at the beginning of this lays it out for its entirety. And so that is important to me, that foundation. And then further on down in there, it talks about the parents and, district philosophies that align with parental choice, oriented to parental expectations and values, and most importantly, acknowledge parents as the primary educator of their children. Those are critical things, and those are two very important things to me and my family. So I very much like that mission statement.
Is there anything that you would like to change or add to it, or you support it the way it is?
Oh, I could dissect it further, but overall I thought it was well thought through and put together well, so I really wasn't in the frame of mind to critique it.
Okay. Well, even though I have more time given to me from Sue, I can't ask you any more questions because it wouldn't be fair to anybody else. So, anyway, thank you, Mick. I really appreciate you applying for this position, and thank you for your time. And you're welcome to join. Oh, I'm sorry.
Closing.
You have a closing statement, I believe.
I do not. I spilled it all in the opening.
It was all your 4 minutes.
I will say this. If I'm selected for this job, I'll give it my all. And since I'm retired, I've got a lot of all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.